Miss Roxy welcomes you back to another story. Well, two stories. Today, Belle makes a new friend, and Moana's errand turns into an adventure. Are you ready? Let's read. Belle picked out a book from the castle library. Then she looked out the window. The sun was shining. "I think I will read outside today," she said. Belle left the castle. She walked past the barn. There was a big pile of hay by the barn. She walked past the apple tree. There was a big basket of apples under the tree. Belle sat down to read. Belle read and read. Before long, she felt hungry. Belle put down her book. She walked back to the castle to get some lunch. Belle put a sandwich, some lemonade, and some sugar cubes into a picnic basket. "And I will pick an apple for dessert," she said. Belle went back outside. She walked past the barn. The hay was gone. "That is odd," Belle said. She walked past the apple tree. The basket was empty. "Who could have eaten all the apples?" Belle asked. Belle looked this way. Belle looked that way. Then she saw something behind a bush. It was a wild pony. Belle stepped closer, but the pony was scared. It ran this way. And it ran that way. But the pony would not come to Belle. Belle had an idea. She took the sugar cubes from the picnic basket. She placed them in a row on the grass. Then she stepped back. The pony ate one sugar cube. Then it ate another. And another. Soon the pony was right next to Belle. Belle held out the last sugar cube. The pony ate it right from her hand. She reached out to pat the pony's soft nose. Belle was happy. She led the pretty pony to the barn. And before long, the princess and the pony became great friends. The morning sun rose high over Montanui as Moana headed through the village. "Good morning," Moana said, approaching two women with baskets of food. "How are things?" "Hi, Moana. It's a fine day, but we're low on sugarcane and won't have enough for what we're making." "I can help," Moana volunteered. "I'll gather some more for you." "Can we come too?" a girl named Futwao asked Moana. "We love exploring." "Yes, but we all have to stick together. The island is big, and I don't want anyone to get lost. But if something does happen, just stay where you are and wait for me to come find you," Moana said. "We promise," the children said. They were so excited to spend the day with Moana. Moana and the children set off toward the forest. "I love sugarcane," a girl named Messina said. Moana and the children talked about how many things they used sugarcane for. "I like to just eat it by itself," a boy named Tao said. The forest was full of giant trees, colorful plants, and rocks and boulders of all sizes. Without any clear paths to walk along, it was obvious why Moana had told them to stick together. Moana looked for visual signs to help her find her way. "See, that rock over there looks a little like Pua," Moana said. The kids loved Pua and could picture him as if he were right there. Moana pulled aside some thick green vines, revealing a large grove of coconut trees. "Can we stop for a snack?" Laumei asked. "That's just what I was thinking," Moana replied. Laumei and Toa scrambled up a tree. They picked the ripest fruits, then tossed them down. After they broke open the coconuts against a rock, they devoured the white meat and drank the sweet water inside. It was a refreshing break. "Do we have time for a game?" Fetoile asked. Since they'd reached the coconut grove sooner than Moana had expected, she figured a quick game wouldn't hurt. "How about a round of hide and seek?" she asked. "Yes!" the children exclaimed. They scattered in every direction, but stay close by, Moana called after them. She shut her eyes and began to count. While he was looking for a place to hide, Toa saw a colorful bird he'd never seen before. He began to follow the bird. "Time's up!" Moana yelled. She opened her eyes and began to look for the children. In a matter of minutes, Moana had found Fetoile, Laumei, and Masina. That meant only Toa was left, but no matter where she looked, Moana couldn't find him. "Good job, Toa! You found the best hiding spot. You can come out now," Moana said. When he didn't appear, Moana was worried he was lost. Meanwhile, Toa had followed the colorful bird all the way back to its nest. He turned around to show his friends, but realized he was all alone. He started to worry, but he remembered what Moana had said earlier, and he sat down and waited for her to find him. Moana and the other children went back through the vines towards the pua-shaped rock. It was there that Moana noticed some bright blue feathers. "Maybe he went up this way," she said. They picked up the feathers and continued walking. Not far away, they came upon another clearing, and there was someone familiar sitting on a rock. "Toa!" Fetoile cried as Moana hugged him. They were relieved to see he was safe and sound. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to go off so far. I was following that bird and it ended up here." He pointed to a nest in a tree hollow. Moana looked up to see a bird with several baby chicks. Toa had stumbled upon a mother bird as she was returning to her family. "Well, it looks like everyone is back together again," Moana said, smiling. "Look over there," directed Fetoile. "That's the tallest grass I've ever seen," added Masina. Moana followed the girls and couldn't believe her eyes. Thanks to their unexpected detour, they had found a shortcut to the sugarcane field. "This is exactly what we're looking for," Moana cheered. She broke off pieces of the sugarcane stalks and passed them around to the children, who arranged them in piles. After gathering as much as their arms could carry, it was time to head home. "Before we go," Moana said, "let's create a sign to mark this new shortcut." They carved an outline of the bird into the ground with sticks. Finally, they stuck the blue feathers they'd collected in the ground next to their new landmark. It was a perfect way to end their afternoon. Soon, Moana and the children arrived back in the village. Moana gave the basket of sugarcane to the women, who were delighted to see the bright, juicy stalks. "Thank you, Moana," one woman exclaimed. "These are wonderful." "It was our pleasure," Moana replied. As they said goodbye, Moana gave each child a hongi, pressing her nose against theirs. "When I grow up, I want to be just like you," Toa said. Moana was touched. As Grandma Tala says, you can be whatever your heart tells you. Moana smiled all the way home. Her heart felt as full as the basket of sugar cane. If you made it to the end, I do hope you enjoyed those stories. As always, until next time, happy reading.